Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG, one of only two premiums in the game for SPGs, located on the eastbourne, was it westbourne? No, it's the westbourne of Safe Haven, under the command of Andromeda of No Retreat, No Surrender. Game on. Well, we know it's a Speepy La Pew Pew. You might know it's a Lefty or a Leaf Blower. It's one of the fastest firing Artys in the game, other than the FB304 or the Crusader with the 5.5 inch or the 4.5 inch howitzer, I should say. Now, it's capable of doing 410 alpha and penetrating through 53 millimeters of armor. And it's got a reload time by the book of 8.92 seconds, but we can see that Andromeda's got 7.85, and he's got 50 rounds of HE to fire at the enemy. You know, he's not carrying any premium rounds at all. He's decided he's going to do as much damage with HE as he possibly can. He fires a snapshot at the Matilda, but unfortunately couldn't get the shell onto the target. Now he might be able to. That's better. Nice hit. 54 hit points. And looks like the Matilda was tracked, and he's getting loads of damage assist. And the Matilda's gone down. Look at that. 516 hit points of damage assist there. I wouldn't try bothering firing at the Matilda there, because he's inside the bunkers, or inside the buildings. But we can certainly fire that M7 up there, and also the T28. The T28's in the lead of that hill. It's going to be a difficult shot, but if you can get it on target, you can do a lot of damage. Rounds out. Looks good. Oh, more than good. Penetrating shot. Takes the T28 out of the game, and earns him another 355. And he just hit the M7 with a blind shot. Rounds out again. Oh, it wasn't the M7, it was a Strib M42 instead. The M7's still there and untouched, but this Strib is about to die. If he stays there for much longer, he'll have to use his repair kit, and he does. Pulls back. Rounds out. Well, he didn't stay for the look, but he just killed that. Now, I will run that back, because obviously he'd moved the camera after shooting, and you didn't get to see exactly what happened. Okay. He dialed in on the Strib M42, fires the round in, direct hit, 103, tracked the guy, he's stuck there, but he pulls back, and notice how, yeah, Andromeda fires the round in, and yes, there's the kill shot that took out the Strib, and now he's going after the Hellcat and the 14 TP, rounds out the 14 TP, long flight time, gets a hit, and it's a penetrating shot, 417 hit points. Well, 14 TPs are only 14-ton tanks, and they're very thin on armor, and that's another kill. 103, that's 3 kills now. He's going after that M7, fires a round in, he pulls back. Now, he didn't get any damage on that M7, but he's now going for a Panzercepstpfeilwerfer 1C, fires a round at him, and then pulls away immediately to have a look at these two tanks. He's guessing now where they are. I mean, with that blind shot on the Strib M42, that was a calculated guess, because he thought that the guy was probably still around about the same position. And yes, it was a good guess, because he was still there, and he got a direct hit which wiped him out. But we seem to own all the factory in the docks area at the moment, and the enemy is just about to lose their Arty. Yes, they do have 2 Artys. An M41 HMC and an SU8, and well, that M41 is just pulled out of our range. Because that Panzercepstpfeilwerfer that came down from the hills, we fire a round in. There's the SU8, and lining up the shot, letting it settle. The guy will be stationary, rounds out. This could be a hit. Just narrowly misses him. The SU8's more than likely still there, because he won't move from his position. He'll take aim from that spot. And he got him! He was still there. It was correct. He did fire the round at a stationary target, which we guessed was there, because obviously he wouldn't want to move away. He was aiming at our guys. Now we're looking for that M41. with 2 tanks up on the enemy. Their M41 dies to the AMX ELC, who probably fired a 90mm round at the guy. And now there's a 3 tank gap. Now, as far as we can make out, the enemy have only got 1 tank that's near us, is the KV-1SA, the auto reloader version of the KV-1, who's somewhere near the factory area. We can't work out precisely. The T-67 and the Hellcat are up on the hills, and they do have a light tank as well, the M7. Well, Andromeda's decided to get a bit closer to the enemy to max out his range. And there's the M7. He fires snap first. Obviously, that's probably going to miss. But it actually landed fairly close. And he got the damage assistance because the M7 went down to the Hummel. It's landed in a tier 6 game with tier 5 tanks in it. He's going for the T-67. If he can get this one on target. T-67s don't have much armor. Narrowly missed it. There's an enemy Hellcat to the north who's in a whole world of trouble at the moment, or south I should say. He's just gone down. The KV-1SA is right up on top of the building. We're lining up a shot. Rounds out. And it went right over the top of him, and our Matilda gets killed, unfortunately, by the enemy T-67. Rounds out the KV-1SA. Again, zaps over the top of him. The T-67 on the enemy team is causing a few problems at the moment. Our M5A1 Stuart's moving in to kill. Unfortunately, Andromeda's just too far away to actually get any damage on him at the moment. But he's getting closer. It's probably better for him to stay behind these buildings, because then the KV-1SA probably won't be able to spot him from on top of that big structure. He's getting as close as he can do. Oh, the T-67's coming for him. Oh, lovely shotgun at close range. But he will have been spotted, so he needs to stay here just for a moment so that the KV-1SA can't see him. Now, I think the M10 RBFM's inside the structure. There's the KV-1SA. Okay, so we can hit him from here. Rounds out. First one was a snapshot, didn't work. Need to let it dial in before you fire. This one's lined up and rounds out. That's a kill. And that finishes and wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats. That was the first class tanker for Andromeda in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 15. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall. And on top of that, he got a top gun for 6 kills. Yes, the KV-1SA was the 6th kill time. And his win rate was 5,648, which is Super Unicum standard and a bit more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in that game was 1,894 hit points, and Andromeda got that, but he narrowly beat the T-67. I think that was the same guy who was actually coming to try and kill him. He got 1,704 hit points of damage, so if he'd actually succeeded in killing Andromeda, he probably would have got the high caliber instead. When it came to kills, yep, Andromeda got the highest of those, 6 kills to him. 4 kills went to the AMX ELC Biz on his own team, and on the enemy team, their T-67 and their M7 both got 4 kills, and the M7 also got an All-X medal in that game. When it came to base XP, yep, Andromeda got that one, so he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,088 means he's the only player to get over 1,000 base. 822 went to the AMX ELC Biz, and 640 went to the Cruiser 4, who narrowly beat that M7 on the enemy team, even though he was on the losing team. He fired 30 rounds, so he had 20 rounds spare at the end of the game. 10 direct hits on the enemy, 5 penetrating shots and 6 splash. Damage of 1,894 hit points, of which 1,650 were at more than 300 meters. The close shot was that T-67 who got shotgunned at very close range indeed, and a very nice shot it was too. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 6 were killed, 518 hit points of damage assistance. Now, he earned a profit on a free-to-play account of 29,424 credits, And he also took away 2,466 XP from the game as well. So yeah, he says, lol, poor T67. Well, not, because that T67 had one thing on his mind: kill the Arty. And yes, the Arty killed him instead. Yeah, we can't feel sad for them, really. No, if they try to pull something like that, they're going to feel the bitter end, and we're going to put the shell into them that finishes off their game. So well done to Andromeda on that one. He did send us in a second replay, so let's have a look at that one. In the second replay, Andromeda's on the northeast spawn of Live Oaks. Game on. Everyone's dispersing to their firing positions. It looks like Andromeda's going to go across the railway line, but actually he's chosen not to. He's going to use these trees here and the bushes to get shots on the enemy. And that might confuse the enemy because they won't know precisely where he is. They might think he's in the yard behind the railway line. Okay, he's looking over to the buildings over on the west side of the map, where the enemy light tanks are more than likely going to appear. And we've got one already. It's an A20. Lined up the shot, rounds out, and direct hit. He picked up 146 damage and 72 from damage assist, and the A20's gone. Over on the railway line, we've got an M5 Stuart been spotted. The shell zipped right over the top because it was a bit of a snap. Lining up the second shot, rounds out, and nope, didn't get that one. But I think this M5 is going to start being a little more, well, how should I say, active now that our guys have turned up. Okay, will he stop and move forward to the bush? Be moving back, rounds out. Just misses him again. Nobody active over on the other side, although we are losing tanks over there. In fact, we've lost 4 tanks over. There's a 4 tank difference on us, on the enemy at the moment. So it's looking very poor, this game. Rounds out the M5 Stuart. Again, misses. Now you can see Andromeda's again chosen to use nothing but HE. The Stuart was stationary. Unfortunately, didn't get a hit, but I think the guy might be tracked at this moment. Rounds out, and he pulls away just as we fire. But he has gone down. The AMX ELC got him, and I think he's using the 75mm gun. We've been spotted. An enemy BT-7's made his way into our cap area, and oh, we turned the wrong way there, so we're going to have to move. The enemy RT in this game is a gorilla. He's the only one, and oh, we just received fire from a Panzer III Ausführung J. We're coming up behind the BT-7, and we're still receiving fire from the Panzer, but there goes the BT-7. Yeah, shotgun at close range. Take that, you beast. Okay, so we know that the enemy knows where we are, and we need to pull back from the shed, because if we don't pull back, the gorilla will get us. In the meantime, we're looking at an M10 RBFM over by the water. As we were pulling back, just trying to aim for the most difficult or dangerous of targets. Now the enemy is so close now that it's almost fire and forget, because if you know what I mean, it's that they are so close to us that every shot should count. The M10 goes down, but it's not us who kills him, it's the Su-85B. We're now aiming in on the KV-1. Bit of a snapshot there, not fully dialed in yet, but this shot should work. Rounds out. Yes, it does. 68 hit points. First shot. Go for it again. He's still moving, so he's not tracked. Rounds out again. Another direct hit. He's probably still there, but he gets distracted by this Panzer III Ausführung J, and he wants to kill on that guy because that's the guy who fired into our tracks. Oh, and he goes down to the Stug 3 Ausführung B. Oh, wait, there's 2 Panzer III Ausführung Bs, or Ausführung Js. One just coming in from the town, and he felt that one, 118 hit points, and now he was taken out by our Su-85. So we've curtailed the enemy attack. That we were 4 tanks down on the enemy. Now it's all evens again. There's the KV-1. He pulled back. Another direct hit. 85 hit points. He's potentially a one-shot if we could get a pen. Rounds out. And that is a pen, or at least, well, it looks like it overwhelmed him. So that's another kill. 2 kills now for Andromeda. We're 1 tank up on the enemy. We were looking like we were going to lose this game because the enemy was assaulting our cap area. We were out in the open, seen by the enemy, taking shots from them. Didn't lose any hit points because the enemy kept hitting our tracks. And now they're starting their assault again, and this time round it's an M10 down in the swamp. First shot's a bit of a snap, and it fails. The enemy lose their SU-85B. We're loaded. It zips over the top of the M10 RBFM. Remember, that's the French version of the M10. That's a direct hit. It's the Regiment Blind Fusilier Marine, the French Marine Force. So it was French Navy that were using those tanks, but they were very well trained players, or very well trained crews. The Stug 3 Aslains B goes down to the enemy M10 RBFM. We put a round into the SAU-40. Now remember, we're actually just outside that shed, so a bit of the open, in the open there. He needs to pull back and get into cover, otherwise he's going to be receiving fire from the enemy. And they still got that gorilla, and for some reason the gorilla's not been firing in our direction. And that might be because he's busy. He's busy trying to avoid being killed by our Panzer IV Ausführung H, who's down the other end of the map. There's only 3 left on our team. We've got the Panzer IV Ausführung H, a Panzer III Ausführung J, and here comes the Stug. It's a bit of a snap. Again, he needs to sort of like work out that habit of playing a snapshot. I think he does it because he hopes that it will work. He did get a shot on that one on target. It tracked the Stug. It turned him sideways. Rounds out. Another hit. Tracks him again. 104 hit points. We're capping at the other end. The game's almost about to be over. Rounds out. Well, 97 hit points. Next shot could kill him. Oh, they reset the cap. Rounds out. That's a kill. And potentially that's the high caliber. So it's 3 versus 3. At 1 minute it looked like the enemy was going to win. And then it went to even again. And then it looked like they were going to win again. And now it's gone even again. Oh, but no. We've lost the Panzer IV Ausführung H. So we're now 1 down on the enemy. And our Panzer III Ausführung J is a non-active. He's an AFK sitting in the cap area. So it's all down to Andromeda, really, to kill all 3 remaining enemy tanks. So don't be surprised if the Panzer III Ausführung J suddenly dies, because that will be that the enemy hit our AFK. Now they've got 2 tank destroyers and the gorilla. They were last seen in this area. That's the most likely area that they're going to pop up in. You can hear the enemy Arty firing. And he is firing at the Panzer III Ausführung J, but he didn't get an accurate shot. It just missed him, just slightly. It looks like it may have done some damage. Maybe splashed him. We're waiting for sight of the enemy. Remember, this Arty has a view range of 390 meters, based on the fact that the Arty is very high on top of the heavy tank, so that their crews can see much further. They're not wanting to come in. Oh, now one of them's coming in. It's the SAU-40, the French tank destroyer. And he got a hit with that one, even though he wasn't aiming directly at it. The shell went to the right and hit the SAU-40. That one hit the ground at just at the edge of the ridgeline. I would expect that SAU-40 to try it again. He probably realizes he got spotted, but he'll probably want to try and use that those bushes to try and sneak in. It was the bush line that he was using. No shots from the gorilla. There's the SAU-40. Rounds out. Yes, this time he did get tracked. And we're dialing in, getting ready for the next shot. This should be a kill shot. Rounds out. Yes! 4 kills now. 5 minutes. Coming up to 5 minutes left on the game. Okay, that was the Panzer III Ausführung J being taken out by the M10. And he's on this side of the railway line. And he has hit us. And we're under fire from the gorilla. But we're about to shoot again. Can we get a kill shot? Rounds out. Yes! Now we need to move. Because we did get the kill, but the enemy Arty knows exactly where we are. And he's changing direction to make sure the gorilla can't get an accurate shot. Now we've lost about half our hit points. And we did lose our driver, but we put the driver back in. And that means that we've got a chance. And the enemy gorilla has drowned himself. What a loser. How? Why would you do that? It would have been a good fight. Here's the end of battle stats. And that was a first-class tanker to Andromeda in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a defo loss to a win in that game, but it was a pity that the last enemy, the gorilla, chose to kill himself rather than fight it out because, well, he could have actually put up a really good fight and it would have been interesting for Andromeda. As it was, Andromeda got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually got 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, just one short of getting a Top Gun. If he had killed the gorilla, he would have got a Top Gun out of that game as well. He also got a Bruiser Medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this game. He got 13. A Stark's Medal for taking at least 2 shots from the enemy, losing potentially 2/3 of his hit points, and killing at least 2 enemy tanks and surviving the battle, being alive at the end. And he also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game. Overall, his win rate was 6,421, which is Super Unicum standard, and a lot more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see that his hit points was 2,068. The nearest player to him was the SAU-40, who managed 1,404. And the third highest was the M10 RBFM, the guy at the end who put up a good fight. He got a Defender Medal because he must have been resetting that Panzer IV Ausführung H at the other end of the map. And he managed 1,139 hit points. When it came to kills, we can see that Andromeda managed to get 5 kills, but so did the SAU-40 and the M10 RVFM. That must be the guy at the end who was just taken out right at the very end. So between them, those 3 players killed half of the tanks in the battle. When it came to the next highest was the Stug 3 Ausführung B, the M5 Stuart, the SU-85B, and on the enemy team, their other M10 RBFM. When it came to base XP, that goes to Andromeda, which means Andromeda, yet again, has got the top in all 3 columns. 1,035, the only player to get over 1,000 base in this game. 721 went to the AMX ELC Biz on his team. In fact, actually, that guy's in 3rd place because the enemy M10 beat the AMX ELC. He had 768, so I got that in the wrong order. It goes Andromeda, M10, and then the AMX ELC. Well, very well played by that enemy M10, who actually did get a Defender, and the T-67 got a Confederate. But Andromeda comes out on top with a winner. He fired 37 rounds, so he still had 13 rounds left at the end of the game. 17 direct hits and 2 penetrating shots, 17 splash. Damage of 2,068 hit points, of which 1,541 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see a lot of close range action in that game. 7 hits received from the enemy, 2 penetrating shots, 5 non-penetrating shots. Of course, those Panzer III Ausführung J shots that hit the tracks do count towards the total that balances out, was it 2/3 of the hit points of the vehicle? And in fact, I suppose that those 2 shots alone that hit the tracks count towards it and actually made sure that it was over the 2/3 amount. 290 hit points of damage blocked by armor. Well, that's actually more than the hit points of the entire, well, not more than the hit points, that's 340, but it's very close to it. 7 enemy vehicles were damaged, 5 were killed, 151 hit points of damage assistance. Now, on a free-to-play account, he actually earned 24,038 credits profit from that game. And he also took away 2,346 XP as well. But, oh, what we missed out on. That would have been an absolutely superb fight out between a gorilla who was damaged, I think he was damaged, and then Andromeda with his 105mm. Obviously, Andromeda probably would have spotted the gorilla before the gorilla spotted him, because, of course, we've got a much longer view range. But it would have been interesting nonetheless. Please don't commit suicide if you're in an Arty. Fight to the bitter end. Get as many hit points as you can. Go down fighting. You know, it's so much more fun. Even if you have to do it by a comedy kill, you know, to jump on the enemy and try and squash him to death. But go down fighting. It shows fighting spirit. The others will love you for if you do such a thing. And it just makes the game so much better if we fight to the very bitter end. So I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.